Hello. Welcome to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and we are back for another episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and this is season 9, and this is episode 16. And next week's episode is a season finale. And what I must say about this season is, I believe this is like one of those seasons where we need to have that kind of in between season, where last season was horrible. And this season is kind of a fresh start, if you will. There's, a little bit of a cast shakeup that we have here. And overall, I didn't mind the season. But I also did not love the season because it was way too Mia centered and it really needs to be her last season. But that's neither here nor there. Overall, I did enjoy the season for the most part because for once it wasn't toxic. But this episode, though, it's episode 16, and it's called The Truth Will Set You Off. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the episode. So this episode kind of picks up where we left off, where they are at Ashley's event, at her drag king event, and Karen and Mia are going back and forth and back, and going off on each other. And Karen is just, basically trying, like she is locked in and exposing Mia and her lies. Now the whole thing with this though is, although I agree with Karen, she is totally the wrong person for this because she herself is deflecting by doing this. And Mia calls her out on that, but again, it's Mia who's calling her out, so it's like, I don't know. It's in a weird way, they're kind of canceling each other out. But one thing that's taking place is, so as this is happening, they finally do just stop yelling at each other because they're not getting anywhere. And then they go back inside because they're outside when all this happened. And then Jazzy, we have a rare appearance of Jazzy. She does show up, and it was literally a case of, oh, Jazzy's here, and that was it. That was pretty much it. So while this is happening, a very, very interesting and yet odd thing is going on. And we see a major shift. So let's get into that. So after their blow up, between Stacey and, Karen and Mia, we notice that Stacey is comforting Mia and not really Karen, which is very odd because we know that Karen's the one who brought Stacey on the show and she already, was friends with her. And so everyone's just kind of somewhat looking at Stacey like, girl, what? And this is where we see, okay, she's kind of flip-flopping right now. And even Wendy's calling it out. She's like, girl, whose side are you on? This is weird. And Stacey's point of view is, this is a pile on Mia. This is not fair. We're just not going to do that. And by the way, while all this is happening, Jacqueline's there, but literally everyone's ignoring her, which I was actually okay with that because, oh gosh, we already, because Mia is going to be on the show with Jacqueline, I want them both off the show. And really, I want Mia off the show anyway, but it just makes it where I really want her off the show. But then, anyways, after all this happens, and we finally get to the drag performances. And when I say drag performances, it's not just a performance with Ashley. They do just like a regular traditional drag show with the different drag queens. But then we do get to Ashley's performance. And what I will say, pleasantly enough, I think Ashley found her calling. I'm not even going to hold you. I think she actually found her calling. She actually did a very, very good job. And her inspiration was American Psycho. I'm sorry, it's not Psycho. Wow. Psycho. American Psycho. So the Christian Bale character in the movie. And she really did pull that off well. Maybe because she herself is stiff and his character he's kind of like a stiff kind of serial killer type dude. So it actually works out for how she moves anyway. And I'm not really even trying to be shady. I'm actually being dead serious. And I don't know. She actually this is probably the first time that I kind of found Ashley extreme, like way more attractive than normal. And even the other ladies had their comments about it too. Like, she brought Karen up and did the show with her, and Karen was really into it. All the girls enjoyed it, so that was kind of cool. And then after that, Josh was there too because Ashley's whole entire family was there. Uncle Lump, Josh met Uncle Lump. Do you any of y'all really believe Ashley and Josh's relationship? I don't. I don't really believe anything that's going on with Ashley, but that's neither here nor there. I kind of want it to be her last season too because she never has anything going on. But anyway, so then next we have basically Wendy is catching Ashley up on what just took place, and Ashley's like, "Wait, what?" And Ashley's reaction is a very interesting reaction. I think she's basically now, I mean, we already called this out before, but it's very obvious this season that she is definitely is taking the place of rhop, Giselle's sidekick. So if Giselle ain't seen it for someone, neither is Ashley. That's literally what's going on. And Wendy, she's kind of playing the middle, but not really because I think Wendy's at the point where, similar to the rest of us as an audience, we're getting sick of like Mia's BS. So anyway, that's kind of where things end. And then we go on to the next scene. Oh, okay. So anyway, sorry. My bad. So I actually have something going on in the background. So anyway, the next scene is we have Giselle, Ashley, Kiana, or Kay, and Karen. And they're out to lunch. And majority of this scene is basically Kay and Greg's relationship is not working. It is not working. He is what we've already been kind of seeing. He's kind of a misogynist. He's kind of giving misogyny. That's very old school. He wants her to be like a Susan Homemaker and not have anything to do with the show, even though that is literally what she wants to do. She wants to be on the show. So Kay is just literally breaking down and crying. And this is probably one of the first times where I was like, wow, Giselle. I was like applauding her. Because Giselle gave her the speech that like all of us been wanting to give her. Like, girl, do not let someone else dim your light. And this was actually a really, really touching scene. And I really hope Kay really listens to it because I mean, we've already been calling it out all season long that none of us see this working out with Kay and Greg. So yeah, I don't see it working, and that's kind of really the gist of what happened here. I think they talked a little bit about Stacy and how she was acting and Mia, but other than that, it was really mainly about Kay and Greg. So anyway, next. So this next little thing, I kind of wanted to skip it. It's Mia and Ink, and they're talking about the fraternity test of it all. That's pretty much all that happens here. Next. Yeah, I talked about it. I just wasn't going to talk long about it. But anyway, so next we have Stacy, and we find out she's planning an event for the ladies. And child, I ain't gonna hold you. I saw the season finale preview of this event. It looks like it ends up being a hot mess. That's neither here nor there. I'm kind of interested to see how it plays out. But anyway, Stacy is at like I believe that she's like at the pound, like a dog pound or whatever. And so what she's planning is like kind of like a fashion dog show, which I've never heard of that being a thing. And it's for charity. And yeah, so she invites Ashley to come there with her. And we're finding out that Stacy really she's really warming up to Ashley out of everyone. Mainly because they're going through a divorce at the same time. And really this thing is they both talk about their divorces. And we find out that Stacy's heading to her third mediation. That should be her last one. And we also find out that she did decide to waive her child support. Ashley's looking at her like she's crazy. But at the same time, Stacy is still stuck on I know my man, I know my man, I know my man. And I'm like, okay. Um, so that's kind of all that happens here. And I mean, we don't know her relationship. We don't even know the inner workings of it. We don't even know the guy. So maybe she's right. I don't know. And I actually did listen to another reviewer last week when they were talking about this. And I guess technically she always could take him to court later on for child support if she does change her mind. So it's not a be all end all thing. And I didn't know that because, hello, I've never been married before, so I didn't know, and I don't have any kids, so I wouldn't know any of that. But I found out that, if all of a sudden he decides he's not going to, take care of their daughter, she could, petition child support at a later date. I don't think there's no way. I don't think there's a way around her like having some type of like clause of some sort. So where like if she signs it, it's done and one and done. Who knows? Anyway, that's kind of all that happens here. So then next we have this super, super awkward scene with Kay and Greg. And it's very clear Greg does not want to be on the show. And and Kay is literally trying to like have the conflict resolution on the show because that is really that's what she's supposed to be doing. That's what she signed up for, to show her real life. And he wants no parts of it. And he's refusing to talk about their argument or anything that they had. Because they had an argument, and so we're aware of it, but he's refusing to talk about it. And then she also mentions that, like, hey, I feel like you're not validating my feelings. And he is gaslighting her, basically saying, I validate your feelings all the time. Wherein literally in this scene, you're not validating her feelings. So make it make sense. I don't really have much else with this scene is that other than the fact that they're totally not going to work out. It's very clear to me they're not, but hey, anyway. So next we see Vivian. Hey girl, hey. We haven't seen her since, I think Giselle's event actually. That was the last time we saw her. So probably the second or third episode. But anyway, so we see her again. And, basically, she is helping Stacy get the girls ready for this fashion show. And so all the girls are meeting them at Vivian's. And we find out from Stacy she's inviting everyone. But Karen right away says she's not coming. Because Karen basically says she did not like how Stacy treated her at Ashley's event. And so therefore, she is not going to go to the fashion show. As far as like walk in it, but she'll support her because it's charity. And so then the rest of the ladies show up, minus Mia and Jacqueline. And Giselle makes it very clear that, like, yeah, I understand why she's not going to walk, and neither am I. And Stacy's very just taken aback, like, what is this about? And they basically call out what we called out earlier on, like, how are you going to pick, Mia's side in all this? And Stacy's like, look, I am not choosing sides. I need to know the full story before I make my final decision on things, which I'm not going to hold you. That's kind of an Aries thing. We're like that. Like, we're not going to just get along we don't do groupthink. That's just not how we do. I'm sorry. And as her she's an Aries and so am I, so I totally get what she means by that. But at the same time, it does kind of look funny at the light because that is your friend. But who knows? Anyway. And so then Giselle calls out this weird thing about how you guys, so basically instead of like asking about like having this event, you're just like telling us we're walking in the show. You didn't even ask. You basically told us we're walking in the show. So therefore, I'm not going to do that. And at this point, Wendy's like, oh, child. Because Wendy knows Giselle has a new person she's picking on. And this is what's happening. And she's just like, oh, God. Okay. And so then after that, but Stacy's holding her own. She's like, that doesn't make any sense. That's so weird. And then after that, then Giselle mentions like, and also too, how we're going to meet at Vivian, where when we know Vivian through Karen, and Stacy's like, I've known Vivian longer than Karen, and I'm also friends with Vivian. So you mean to tell me I need to check in to basically meet up with my friend? And Wendy was just there cackling. And it was funny, but yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out in the season finale. And I'm kind of interested in seeing what happens coming next season. But also, too, it wasn't like dark. The thing that was interesting about this is even though they were going back and forth, it was not dark at all. Giselle was like, "So how are you going to have us, do this? And you don't even know if I'm allergic to dogs. You don't know I have issues with dogs. You don't know I have trauma with dogs." And then Stacey's like, "Do you have issues with dogs?" She's like, "Yeah, I got bitten by a dog before." And Stacey's like, "Really?" And Giselle's like, "Yeah, yeah." And then in her confessional, she's like, "Yeah, so what happened to you that was so bad about a dog?" She's like, "Yeah, I got bitten by a dog." I might be lying about that right now, though. I was like, "Child, Giselle." She's selling ish. She's not shit. But anyway, that's kind of where that ends here. All right, so then the last scene is kind of a dual scene that we have going on. So we have Wendy with Eddie, Happy Eddie, and we find out that Wendy just landed an interview because she's basically talking about her season 2 of the Wendy show. We also find out this is the other reason why she decided she's going to quit teaching at John Hopkins, because she wanted to focus more on like her solo ventures that she has, including her show. So her first thing that she has lined up is an interview with oh man, I do not have her name. We'll just say Kay Jean Pierre. Yeah. And she basically is the first black woman who, I forgot what her role is in the White House. But anyway, long story less long, she's going to be interviewing her at the White House. So this is a big deal, the big look. And so she's super excited. Happy Eddie gave her the news. And basically, while she's talking to Happy Eddie about it, she's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about inviting Karen to this because, Karen, invite me to the Surrey County thing." And she ties it together when it comes to the White House and how the White House was built literally by us, our ancestors. By our, I mean us as black people, our slave ancestors. And so, yeah, so she's like, "I think inviting Karen will be full circle, so I'm going to do that." So while this is happening, we have Stacy and Mia meeting up, and they are kind of going back and forth talking about Karen and how Karen's just kind of just is just dodging responsibility. But then also too, Stacy's mentioning how she did not like how Karen was just basically attacking Mia, kind of a takedown, if you will. And I ain't gonna hold you. Part of me's thinking, just as a viewer, because I can't stand Mia. Part of me wants to say, "Girl, Stacey, you just got here. You don't know everything that Mia has done in her past, but on the show." But neither here nor there. So, but while this is happening, child, Stacey decides to clock in and be messy. So she's like, that Karen does not really see it for Wendy. Said that she's selfish, self-absorbed, this, that, and this, and she did not want me to be friends with Wendy. And Mia's like, "What? Say what now?" And I'm saying the same thing, like, oh. So we're probably gonna see how this plays out. I'm curious to see how this plays out. Basically in the next episode, aka the season finale. But that's kind of the tea that gets dropped at the very end, is the fact that Karen's been talking crap about Wendy for some time. And if we know how Karen was towards Wendy in her first season, are we really surprised? The answer is no. Also, too, I am curious to know because Stacy's saying this, but when did Karen say this? Because the producers did show us some footage of, Stacy and Karen talking about Wendy a little bit, but like Karen didn't really say anything in front of the cameras like that could say that she said stuff about her recently or not. And we know that, according to how the show's going, it sounds like Karen has known Stacy for some time. So is this old tea that's rebrewing or is this recent tea? But either way, it doesn't look quite good. But anyway, that pretty much is the episode for today. The season finale looks interesting. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, I'm actually glad that we're kind of getting these shows one by one wrapped up. I'm not going to hold you. But anyway, yeah, that does conclude the video. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Bye.